So if I were to tell you, the viewer, what are some of the greatest comebacks in college football history, most people would be quick to point to when TCU came back down 31 to beat Oregon in the Alamo Bowl, or most recently, when Stanford came back from 29 to beat Colorado. If you are a more experienced viewer, most people would point to games like Minnesota and Texas Tech, or Nebraska and Miami. There are vastly different answers to this question, but no matter who you talk to, there is one comeback that no one talks about. A comeback that was at the time the biggest in a college football bowl game. However, over the years the game has fallen more and more out of relevance, but the insanity that came from that bowl game can still be felt to this day. That game played way back in 2001 in the GMAC Bowl between East Carolina and Marshall. Yeah, that's right, these two teams of all teams. So our story begins in the year 2001. Marshall is a ranked team. And at 11-2, rolling into Mobile, Alabama to play the 6-5 East Carolina Pirates in the GMAC Bowl. Many would pick Marshall to win, as they are led by their QB, Brian Leftwich, who'd be a future NFL prospect teams would scout in the next couple years. For ECU, they are led by their QB, David Garrard, playing in his final game before going into the draft. He's the only player in Division 1A at the time to have 9,000 pass and 1,200 rush yards. Leftwich was good in the air. Garrard could do a mix of both. 40,000 fans came into the stadium ready for what was surely going to be an offensive shootout. We start with kickoff.
GMAC ball underway from Mobile, Alabama. Glad you could be with us.
And here we go. Second play of the game. And oh no! Alright, not what the fans thought this would be the first score of the game, but here we are. It's 7-0. Well, that's fine, since Marshall would just get back the ball and they'll try it again. Look at their running back, Franklin Wallace, go. Go more plays like that. And
Mamma mia!
Shotgun snap gets away from Leftwich. Down the far sideline to the 10.
Really? Really? Who'd have thought the game that had two quarterbacks with damn good numbers on offense and the first scores of the game are a pick six and a bad snap, scoop and score? It's gonna be a long game, isn't it? Well, since Marshall is having an awful start, we finally get to see ECU's David Garrard, and he will take advantage of this as he leads an amazing drive that puts up another touchdown on Marshall to make it 21-0. Guys, these damn pitches this guy does, it's like when I play NCAA 25. Though sometimes it won't be so great.
Watch out, watch out!
Field goal is good, 24-0. Oh boy. Okay, Marshall really needs something, so Leftwich just said fuck it. Darren Watts, the at the time leader in the nation for touchdown catches, is there somewhere, and he was for the score. And they also said fuck it and went for two, which they got, 24-8. Here we go, they got momentum. Marshall is now gonna lead the 24 point. Make it look so goddamn easy. ECU gets a touchdown, 31-8. Now Marshall again would have to just try.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Are you kidding me? Garrard would just go again downfield and score. Holy fuck. 38-8. It is all ECU. Most people would just write the game off to just be another bowl game blowout. However, Marshall was starting to begin a rally. A pick six early in the second half made it 38-15. Then a crazy-ass Leftwich run.
Goodness gracious me!
Made it 38-22. ECU would still find a way to score again with a field goal to make it 41-22. A failed Marshall drive later, Garrard would lead his team back down.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Seriously, what's all the defense in this game? 3 turnovers, now it's 41-29. It was 38-8. This is a weird fucking score. Alright, ECU just has to score, and they'll be right. Enough with the pitches! They ain't gonna work! That Marshall scores. Wallace again gets in. Marshall from 38 to 8 down is within 5, 41-36. Oh, by the way, we are now in the fourth quarter. This game is taking fucking forever. Thankfully, ECU was able to get a score as Miller makes it his third field goal of the night to make it 44-36. An 8-point game. Marshall can drive downfield. What is left of over 40,000 people witness another Leftwich master throw. Now go for two. A drop. 2-point game still. ECU now has to score on this drive, and score they did.
Do you have any idea how fast I am?
Leonard Henry was 5 yards short of a 200-yard night with nearly 30 carries. He was an absolute unit for this ECU team, and surely the dagger. 51-42 with 4 minutes to go in the game. They need to score twice quickly. While not able to get a touchdown, they were able to get a field goal and make it 51-45. And with a defensive stop, it gives up all 3 timeouts. They will get the ball with 50 seconds at their own 20. With no timeouts, they must score. Seconds now left. They needed to get into the end zone. Once again, Leftwich said, "Fuck it." My God, they've done it. Thousands of fans left at halftime. Many presumably Marshall fans. They have all missed greatness. Marshall, after being down 30, now have tied it up at 51. Joy for one side, utter devastation for the other. An amazing night for every Marshall fan is now about to be complete. The greatest comeback in bowl game history is about to take place. All that needs to be done now is to...
What else can happen? Oh, man. In his head. 51 of 57 on extra points during the regular season.
What the ass? You're kidding. He missed. He missed it! Where a good kick would have sealed the greatest comeback in bowl game history, and he missed! Look at Vince's teammate! He's even trying to tell him! He's trying to tell him! This is complete and utter madness! We have enraged the football gods, and as punishment, we must go to overtime! Let this end already. Alright, here we go. Marshall gets the ball to start overtime. Leftwich leads his team down to 2. They hand it to Wallace, and he scores. It's 58-51. The first time Marshall has led all night. Now, here we go. One defensive stop, and Marshall will...
Big gaping hole!
Garrard handing it off. Leonard Henry. Down the 5.
You know what? Just lay down next time. Lay down and just let him score. My God, we go to double overtime. I hate life. Anyway, ECU gets the ball at the beginning of overtime, in which they must settle for only 3. My god, can Marshall finally do this for real? Down at the 5 now. Marshall is 5 yards away from the win. They just gotta get it in the end zone! Josh Davis coming! Flag. No. I don't want this game to keep going. I don't want this game to keep going. Please, for God's sake, please be on the team. Please be on the team. Please be on the team! Wow. Just wow. What a game. Marshall, after an awful first half, got into gear with some sort of locker room speech and proceeded to score 43 second half points, 13 of them in overtime, to win by the score of 64 to 61, giving them their 11th win of the year. This game is a major reason why Brian Leftwich is such a sought-after talent, where in the 2003 draft, he would be the 7th overall pick from the Jaguars. As for how he did in the NFL,
Play fake and, well, you know what? They're faster, they're bigger, they cover better in the NFL, Tom.
for some people, getting to the NFL isn't what people expect it to be. And that is the same thing for our characters in this story. Franklin Wallace, who had 2 touchdown carries, I'm not sure what ever happened to him. He never went to the NFL, nor any Google search bring me any closer to figuring out who he was. Darius Watts, who had the game-tying touchdown late in the 4th, he would get drafted in the 2nd round of the 2004 draft as a 54th pick from the Broncos. However, an injury with the Giants sadly ended his career, but a 2008 AFL comeback helped lead his team, the Philadelphia Soul, to an Arena Football League championship win back in 2008. Josh Davis, who made the game-winning touchdown catch, would go undrafted in 2005, but would be signed by the Dolphins as a wide receiver and punt returner, going from team to team as well. Leonard Henry, finally, would be drafted in the 2002 draft as a 241st pick in the 7th round, however, not panning out well in the NFL, and even had a stint with the then-defunct NFL Europe League as a member of the Frankfurt Galaxy. Finally, the QBs of the respected teams, Brian Leftwich and David Garrard. Leftwich, as mentioned earlier, was the 7th overall pick in the 2003 draft, picked up by the Jaguars. However, 1 year before that 03 draft, another quarterback was drafted to the Jags by the name of David Garrard. Originally, Garrard would have been the starting quarterback for the Jags at the time of his draft, but a head coach firing changed the plan up, and he was their backup to the quarterback they would draft 1 year later, Brian Leftwich. However, in 2005, a late-season injury would put Garrard in his spot, and would proceed to go 5-1 to finish off that 2005 year, but still would be set aside for Brian Leftwich in the AFC wildcard game, and thus the quarterback controversy began. Now, this whole situation with these 2 players and this team as a whole is a video of its own. It was already done by official Jaguar Gator 9, but in short, back and forth the quarterback battle went in 2006, and at the start of 2007, after a good preseason, the Jags decided to put Garrard over Leftwich, in which Leftwich was released the very next day after that decision. Ow! Doing my research on this topic was quite fascinating. A comeback forgotten to time that had the 2 starting quarterbacks of both Marshall and ECU get drafted by the same team. College football at times could be a massive world with over 300 teams across all divisions of NCAA, but it also is a very small world. Players that were drafted, we had no idea what they would become. Now, they are the faces of the NFL. For David Garrard, that is of no difference. While watching this video, some of you may have asked yourself, David Garrard, that name sounds familiar. or some of you may have no idea who he is, but in the end, in reality, everyone watching this video, if they are a football fan, very much know who David Garrard is. But we must fast forward to the year 2010. It's the Jags and Texans in the AFC South matchup. The game's tied at 24, the Jags are set up at the 50-yard line. The quarterback drops back, and is ready to throw it downfield. Everyone watching this video knows this play, and has seen it thousands upon thousands of times. But what some don't know is the quarterback a part of this historic play. It's the same quarterback who was the losing end of one of the wackiest and craziest college football bowl games of all time, all those years ago. His name is David Garrard, and he's about to throw himself into history.
Garrard steps up, fires, Mike Sims, Walker!